Good evening, everybody that is watching, that has joined us for this live. I still get mega excited every time I see that trailer, and but not as excited as Karl is. Obviously, he's been out. He's obviously been shopping. Very, very different weather out there. I can already tell from the pictures. Just to put you into context of what's going on right now, Karl is out there getting himself a tan, tasting the beer. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, he's been, I don't know whether he's mugged a homeless person for that shirt or what, but he's obviously been shopping. Right. Meanwhile, I'm back in the UK. You might be able to hear I'm fully stuffy-headed, snotty nose, feel rotten. Okay. And I cough every now and again. So I'm sick and he's out there in Vegas. Somewhere on the line, I've done something wrong. So Karl, thanks for joining us. Just fill us in. Just start off with the essentials, the weather, the beer, the atmosphere out there.
Well, yeah, let's jump in. Welcome. I wanted to say this, Craig. So welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders live from Las Vegas. This place is belting, mate. The sunshine is out. It's just an absolute rugby league takeover in this town. It's incredible.
So you say, I mean, we've seen lots of footage coming back, mainly Wigan, if I'm honest. I have seen some things of Warrington and the NRL sides as well. Not seen a great deal of the England women's team either. So you say it's like a takeover. Obviously, Las Vegas is massive. Just put us in the picture. Obviously, we can't be there. You've been there, you experience it. So just if you could put it into words.
Yeah, so the teams are very much they're quite well protected. Like when you're in the UK, you've got pretty good access to the British teams all the time, haven't you? And the women's teams. But here they've turned them into massive stars, absolute celebrities. It feels like whenever there's like an NRL player about, there's like a buzz, there's like hustle and bustle, and you can't get near them. It's the Aussie fans, they are fanatics, and yeah. So when the Aussie players are about, you can't get near them. I haven't seen much of the women. There were a couple of them out the other night in one of the bars, but the teams are very much down one end of the strip, and the fans are the majority of the fans are down the other end of the strip where I am. But when I say it's a takeover. So when I got here, I was like, is rugby league going to make a dent in this city where there's so much going on? Let me tell you, it absolutely has. Everywhere you walk, I mean, you can't walk for 60 seconds without seeing somebody wearing a rugby league shirt. And I mean, from all over, Bradford, Leigh, Canberra, Penrith. I mean, there's people just everywhere in rugby league shirts. And everyone's grouping together. So it's like you can go out and have a drink with the Aussies, and everybody's got the same feelings. We just want to put rugby league on the map in the States. Mate, it feels like it's happening. Honestly, it just feels like I say, it feels like a rugby league takeover.
So just obviously you're talking about what is quite obviously rugby league fans there. Now, have you got an indication of how many's out there? But also, what are your locals? What are your Americans that are sort of cutting about? What's their take on this?
Well, this is the thing. So you've got like everybody's walking around in the shirts, and the Americans they will stop you and say, "What's happening? What's going on?" Well, they can't miss it. Like you cannot miss a sign of NRL anywhere in this place. So I'll take, for example, Resorts World up the top end of the strip. There's like a dedicated fan zone in there. So there's just thousands of fans milling around there all the time. It's got this huge LED screen on the outside of it, and it's massive. And it's got Nathan Cleary's head on it, and and Bevan French on the side of it. So you can't miss it. Likewise, the Allegiant Stadium is always lit up with the NRL slapped right across it. There's trucks going up and down the strip with billboards for the NRL on it. Get your tickets for $29. So yeah, it's everywhere. And the Americans, the curious, they're asking what's going on all the time. Like, what is this rugby? And people are just educating them. And like with the taxi driver, Mexican taxi driver yesterday, he said, "You know what? I might go to this because the tickets are a decent price as well." So I think you're going to see an influx of Americans actually go to the event. I don't think it's just going to be all Brits, Kiwis, and Aussies.
Right, so we've got a couple of news stories that we're going to bring to you. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But I just want to invite anybody that's watching, if you've got comments, questions, if there's things you want to know, or you just want to give Karl a little bit of crap because he's out there in the sunshine and I'm back home with some kind of virus, which I'm telling you now would have killed 1,000 rugby union players. This, honestly, it would have wiped out half of the Welsh rugby union fraternity, if they got this illness that I've got right now. So if you've got a comment, a question, you want to give them a bit of stick or whatever, stick it in the comments. I can bring it up on the screen, and it'd be great to get a bit of interaction going. Karl, before we move on to the news stories, then give me a little rundown as to kind of your itinerary. What have you been doing? How have you come to be stood in front of us in this wacky shirt, which I like, to be honest. I like this shirt. It's a little bit, well, it's very, very American, so it's not really up my street, but it's a really well put together shirt. Have you scored it?
No, well, I'm wearing it, mate. So it wasn't cheap, this. Let me tell you that. It wasn't cheap. So it's definitely a 10 out of 10 on the Rugby League Outsiders rating scale, this one is. Right, so my itinerary, I'll tell you what I've done since I've got here. Apart from a lot of drinking. So Thursday night, we arrived really late on the Thursday. We flew to LA, and then we had to get connecting flight into Vegas, which are a little bit annoying because we flew over Las Vegas to then sit in an airport for 3 hours to fly back to Las Vegas. So that was a little bit annoying. So we got here late Thursday night. So we'd missed the fan fest that was taking place. There was a huge event on the first night. We missed a little bit of that, but we went out in the casinos, and the rest of the lads that were with me all lost a load of money. So it was onto a great start. And then yesterday I woke up and I got properly stuck into it, went for breakfast. We were up nice and early. We went to the Vegas Nines, which is where I got this incredible rugby league shirt I may add. So I spent the day at the Nines. And then last night we was in, I forget the name of the place. Call it downtown Vegas. There was the Fox had the footy show on. There was a live recording of the footy show. And the Andrew Johns show was also on. So there was live recording of that. So just thousands of fans all stood around watching that, chanting and all the rest of it. Onto the shirt. I'll start with the Vegas Nines, actually. So I rocked up at the Vegas Nines. Wasn't really sure what to expect of that because it's not had too much advertisement, really. I spoke to quite a few fans. Not that many people knew it were happening. So I went to that. Didn't really know what to expect. My first impressions were like, whoa, the standard of this rugby is so high. First 5 minutes I saw this bullet pass, 30, 40 metre bullet pass, shipped right across the line. I was like, bloody hell, the standard of this quality. And I started looking, I was like, that's Todd Carney playing there. The ex-bloody State of Origin player. So we're an Aussie team against South Florida Copperheads, and the Aussie team was like a bit of a star-studded side, really, been put together by a businessman. So I think he's gone around sort of hand-picked players. And they were playing this South Florida team who had a couple of English lads playing, plenty of Americans, obviously, but they held their own in that game. It was a great game. So that was like my introduction into this Nines festival. And the standard was awesome, mate. So good.
And then let's just stick with it then. So I brought up the slide, the Titan Industries win the Nines. Tell me about the Titan Industry and the competition as it ran out.
Yeah, so the Titan Industries was the team that I've just mentioned, the team that Todd Carney was playing on. So it's no surprise that they won it. There were some real good players in that. They went on to win the tournament. The final was very close. I forget the team that made the final against them. I think it was the second year that they'd made the final. But I got talking to a load of people at the Nines Festival, like the Americans and what they thought of it, and just the people that are trying to push the sport. The Canada Wolverines were there as well. They had an under-19 side sort of playing their first competitive fixtures there. So it was a real mismatch of teams. So you had obviously you had a load of Aussie lads coming over here and playing who were like sort of A grade NRL sort of standard. But then they were playing against these almost brand new American sides. But that's where I was really surprised, because the American lads really held their own, but their teams are filled with like international sevens players from rugby union, or like track and field athletes from university and stuff like that. So there's some real good athletes in those teams.
Brilliant. And then you obviously mentioned the Matty Johns live show, and you sent a few little clips. So you posted a couple of clips of that. Just fill us in on what was going on there.
Yeah, so that was like a live recording. I mean, it's absolutely huge. Is the footy show in Australia? So all the Aussie fans were all there. Do you know what? I don't think they announced it too much, because I don't think they wanted too many people turning up. So I know there was the event on Fremont Street the other night. There was like 10,000 people rocked up on the Thursday night. So I think they tried to keep it a little bit more low key, so it didn't fill the place. But there was still thousands of fans there. And Bevan French was on there. Matty Pete had a slot on there. Carney was on there. Sam Burgess was on there. It was like a rock star, mate, when he turned up. Like, the crowd just erupted. You couldn't hear yourself think. It was crazy. I mean, I did a few interviews with fans there. I checked the footage back this morning. You can't hear it. It was so loud. And I tell you what, the English fans, they're really bringing something to this event. So like the Wigan and the Warrington fans, they were all chanting their songs. And this is something the Aussies don't do. So the Aussies might be loud and shouting and screaming, but they don't have like chants and songs like the English teams do. So they absolutely love the fact that the English teams are here, because we're bringing so much to this event.
And then just into run into tonight then. So like, obviously it's the morning there. It's just after 11 o'clock, about 20 past 11 over there in America. So like, what's on the cards today? I mean, the games must be kicking off pretty soon.
Yeah. So after I finish this recording, I'll be heading straight to the stadium. 1:30, I think it is, over here. The first game, the Wigan-Warrington game, kicks off. But yeah, like I said, when I was talking about like fans this morning, they're everywhere. There's just a sea of shirts everywhere you look. The stadiums, it's only a short walk from the strip. So I think everybody will be heading there shortly. So yeah, the first game's a Super League game. And the Aussies they're really looking forward to watching that, actually. I think the atmosphere is going to be incredible.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long day for you, isn't it? You've got like all 4 games. Obviously, that's playing out overnight for us. And I'm gonna try and take in as much as I can, but I mean, I'm struggling now. Fortunately, we got given these hoodies and this kit by Oxen, and they partly sponsored this trip out there to Vegas. And thank God, because this is one of the best hoodies I've ever had, and it's keeping me warm right now, because I keep going from like shivering to bloody. Anyway, don't feel bad for me, Karl. Karl, by the way, is that the Big Shot behind you?
Is it the what?
The Big Shot.
Oh, the roller coaster.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, mate. I have been on it. I'm stood outside the New York hotel, and the MGM Grand is on to my left.
Right. Okay. So as well as the Wigan Warrington game, obviously we've got the England women's game against the Gillaroos. Is there a buzz out there for this game? Has it gone pretty much under the radar a little bit? Like, what's happening? Right.
So that was the one I thought was probably going under the radar a little bit, because the Penrith game is the last game and everybody wants to watch that one. So I wasn't sure how much interest there'd be in the England Gillaroos game. But then I was speaking to Chad, the American chap who follows our channel. I caught up with him at the Nines, and he went, this is the game he's most excited about. I was like, oh, really? That's, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. And he said it's the only game where it's the Aussie fans against the English fans. True. So I didn't think of it like that. So obviously the Super League game, all the English fans are going to be supporting their opposing sides, and same with the NRL games. But yeah, the international one, it's very much England v Australia. I know it sounds blatantly obvious. And that was the one he was really looking forward to. He says, I can't wait to see the two sets of fans like going at each other and experience that crowd for the first time. So no, I think it's going to be great. I don't think it'll go under the radar.
Right, we've just got a little question here, and I'm not sure we can really answer it. So Ben Smith Music said, looking at a £15 one-day Sky Sports pass, we're a bit concerned that it won't carry over to the later games past midnight. Any guidance? To be honest, I have no idea, Ben. And maybe somebody who's watching has sorted this out, has done this, and can offer some advice. But for me, I don't really know, and I'm pretty sure Karl won't know either because he's too tight for Sky TV. Excuse me for coughing. So sorry we can't help you with that too much. Karl, obviously, Wigan, Wire. Who are you supporting tonight?
I'm a neutral, mate. I'm a neutral.
But you can't be a neutral, can you? You've got to, you've got to pick one, haven't you?
I think Wigan will win.
Right.
I think Wigan will win. However, I think Warrington have got the better shirt, so maybe I support Warrington. I'm just looking forward to getting stuck in with it. I don't know which end of the ground I'll be in either, so I don't know which side the fans are at. So clearly, I think Warrington have got one end and Wigan have got another end. So be interested to see where I'm sat. But yeah, do you know what? Looking at just talking about Wigan and Warrington, actually, there's been a lot more Wigan like promoting their own events and stuff out here. So they had like a takeover in a bar the other day. I mean, Warrington have probably done it, but I feel like Warrington are trying to go under the radar a little bit more than Wigan. I think I possibly just to keep their heads in the game, I think.
Look at that. My wife's made it on. Hello, Paula. How you doing? So this is brilliant, right? This is brilliant that the community, the Rugby League Outsiders community can help each other out. So Matthew has said, it does, Ben, because the 24 hours basically starts counting down when you first watch your first thing. Okay, so get your Sky Pass. Don't miss. Stay up tonight. Do nothing tomorrow. Just be like a vegetable on the bloody settee. Okay, but get this Rugby League in tonight. A couple of the comments coming in. Come on the wire tonight from the Cosmic Onion. Great name. Excuse me a minute. Don't feel bad, Karl. Don't feel bad. Shout out to my old man who's out there. Hopefully a big win for them. Big up Cas Vegas tomorrow. And then Ben is basically saying thank you for the little bit of help there, Matthew. So thanks for helping each other out. All right, as in terms of like later games then, Karl, obviously you got the Wigan Wire, you've got the women's international. What about like the NRL games? Like, which one of those are you looking forward to watching most?
Right. I'm looking forward to them both in equal measures, and I'll tell you why. New Zealand Warriors versus Canberra, right? The New Zealand Warriors fans, they are here in their masses, right? I would say the Warriors fans are outnumbering the other teams. Definitely. They've got the biggest following here. I'd say 3-1, right? That's how big it is. There's loads of Kiwis come over for this. So, I'm looking forward to seeing the Wars fans in full voice and getting behind their team. So, the game, could go either way. And not too fussed. I'm really all about taking in the fandom, what's going on here. So, the Canberra with a Viking clap. I hope they've brought the big horn, by the way. I think that'll be absolutely awesome if they've done that. Yeah, so that game, that's why I'm really looking forward to that game. And then Cronulla and Penrith. We're probably going to be watching one of the best rugby league sides of our generation, and I really can't wait to watch Penrith. But I tell you what, speaking to the Canberra fans, they're all pretty optimistic that they're going to knock them over tonight.
Well, yeah, and that's what the sniper said actually earlier in the week. He thinks that there could be a Canberra upset here. Excuse me. So. Do you think we're going back to the Warriors fans there?
Just mentioning Penrith, by the way, just for a minute. So Penrith, although you would have thought the biggest side out here, and they've won all the premierships for the last few years, I haven't seen as many Penrith shirts out here. So I don't know if the Penrith fans are just saving their shirts for game day. But what I do know is Nathan Cleary arrived at at Fremont Street the other night, and somebody said to me, he said, I thought Elvis had been resurrected. I thought Elvis was back in the building. He said, because the crowd went absolutely crazy It was just an absolute frenzy for when this guy turned up. And that's what I mean when I say, you can't get near the NRL players. They are like huge celebrities out here. So, I'm looking forward to watching that Penrith side play. And obviously, Nathan Cleary, possibly one of the greatest players of our generation. So, it should be a cracking match.
Do you think just chatting to some of the fans out there, do you think the Wars fans or following the Warriors is what the neutrals are doing? So if you're say you're an Aussie out there, and you don't want to support any of the other NRL teams, the neutral will naturally gravitate towards the Warriors.
I think so. Yeah, I think certainly a lot of the English fans. That's how a lot of the English fans they're gravitating towards the Wars because they bring just this awesome energy with them. Like they're so noisy and more like the English fans, really. So the Aussies, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the Aussies, but it promises to be a great atmosphere.
And are you looking after yourself, Karl? I mean, have you had some food? You had something to eat out there? Have you had any food ratings?
Well, I've just had 2 kilograms of pancakes this morning to try and soak up last night's alcohol, which may or may not still be in my system. I may add. On The Hangover, when they at the end of The Hangover and they watch that, they look at the phone and look at all the photographs to try and remember the night before. Well, I had one of those moments this morning. I was like, "What on earth happened last night?" There may or may not be a video of me crowd surfing somewhere in Las Vegas. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you know Karl, you'll know he loves a good crowd surf. Usually right up to the point where he gets booted out of the concert. So you haven't found yourself handcuffed to a police horse. You've not made it into like the local jail or anything like that.
No, mate. I'm doing pretty well at the minute. But yeah, it's been heavy nice. No, none of that yet. None of that yet.
Right, so just fill us in then, in terms of like catching up tomorrow, post rugby games. What's the kind of plan for that?
Well, we're going to go live again, aren't we, tomorrow, same time, and I hopefully be able to tell you all about the sights of the game and what happened, and give you a bit of a match reaction. I'm sure most people are going to be watching it anyway, but I'll try and get a little bit of backstage stuff and see where I can get myself, speak to some fans, and just take in the occasion. Really, I'm honestly really excited about this, and so is everybody out here. And it feels like a big coming together of rugby league. This does. We're all here for the same reason. It's to promote this amazing sport, and it does. It sounds corny, right? But it does feel like a big rugby league family that's come from all over the world all together.
Well, talking about family, I've even got my bloody mum watching. Look, she says, "Looks like my little boy is getting all grown up." They're obviously just trying to stitch me up here with some comments. But all right, okay. So we'll check in with you tomorrow, Karl. Listen, don't worry about me back here sick. I've got 999 on speed dial just in case. I've been out and got some chicken soup, so I think I'll be okay. All right, and if I do pass away, the stash that Oxen gave us, you're welcome to have it back. And by the way, before you go, just give us a little bit of a plug in regards to the rugby store.
Yeah, so the rugbystore.co.uk. We've partnered with them for this Vegas series and our shirt review series, which is still sort of dropping out on the channel at the minute. But if you use the discount code RL Outsiders, you will get 10% off at the rugbystore.co.uk. Like I say, they've sorted us out with some shirts. They've got all the NRL stash in there. They've got all the hats. They've got all the scarves. They've got all the Super League shirts. So, if you're looking for Super League gear or NRL gear, get yourself to the rugbystore.co.uk. Tell the Rugby League Outsiders sent you and use the discount code RL Outsiders.
And a little message there from your Tony saying, "Enjoy, Karl. Have a great night."
I will. Don't you worry about that. It's been an amazing trip so far. Proper bucket list stuff, this is, honestly. And it hasn't disappointed at all.
Well, to close then, bucket list experiences for you. Sick bucket for me. All right. So until tomorrow's catch up, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Have a great night, Karl.
Cheers, mate. Get better. See you later.